Oh, every time I want to watch a movie, this router doesn't work. Okay, what's the number again? All right. Hello, tech support. Yeah, listen, it happened again. How much money have I paid for this thing already? Look, I am doing that. I paid for the upgrade. What do you mean upgrade?
So while I was traveling around the galaxy battling kaiju, I've been realizing that there's a problem. Everyone's buying a bunch of routers off of Amazon, travel routers with VPNs and everything on them, in an effort to stay away from big tech and be private. But you know what? Those routers are actually made in China with an operating system that's collecting more and more data by the day. So what can we do about that? Well, what we can do is we could take advantage of the Raspberry Pi, a USB dongle, and OpenWRT to make our very own open source made in the UK VPN router. So we're going to teach you how to do that. It's real easy. Raspberry Pi, USB dongle, OpenWRT, faster speed than anything you can get at Amazon for a fraction of the price. Hey everyone, welcome to the long version of how to turn a Raspberry Pi 4B into a VPN router. For the easy version, watch the other video. Okay, first, let's go through a list of materials. You're going to need a Raspberry Pi 4B. I recommend getting it from a reputable dealer and getting one of the made in the UK versions. Here you go. If you zoom in, you could see that beautiful little made in the UK stamp. Again, made in the UK, you could see it right there. All right, we got one of those. Next, you need a reputable USB-A to Ethernet adapter. The reason I say reputable is because I found a lot of these don't work very well. I have found that using one that touts compatibility with Windows, Mac, and Linux seems to work well for our purposes. Then you are going to need an SD card. You don't really need a big one. Anything will work, really. I'm using a crappy little 16 gigabyte one. Then you have your physical materials. Then you go to openwrt.org. Once you're at OpenWRT, we are going to scroll down and go to the firmware selector. Click on that and look for our model, Raspberry Pi 4B. Here we go. I'm using the 64-bit version. Important, where it says customize installed packages and/or first boot script. Click on that. You're going to see these two boxes open up. You will then go to my GitHub, which there are links for on the website and probably at the bottom of this video, and look for the README file on the OpenWRT Raspberry Pi 4B folder of my GitHub, and you're going to need to install these packages as listed on the README file. Right-click, copy, or Control-C. I just do the right-click for visual purposes for you all. Then go back. Over here, you see that Lucy is already listed, so we can leave it there or just paste over it. Paste. Again, you found these packages from my GitHub. The link is below. You go to the README file. There they are. All right, what we're doing is we are requesting a custom image with a couple of extra packages. We could do this another way, but it's a little longer doing it that way, so we are just doing it this way. It's pretty easy. Then hit Request Build. Cool, you see there where it says Build Successful? Sometimes that might take a little bit, sometimes it might not. Then go down to the bottom, right-click, Save Link As, Save. Now, the reason I right-click on it instead of just left-clicking is because when I left-click, sometimes weird stuff might happen if your browser interprets it weird, or if you have weird settings like I do, or maybe it's something on OpenWRT's end, I don't know. I just right-click and Save As. It is downloading up here. That'll take a little bit. We'll come back as soon as that's done downloading. So you've downloaded the image, and now what you want to do is go to raspberrypi.com/software because you are going to need the Raspberry Pi Imager. If you already have another thing that can burn images, cool, no worries. But again, we're trying to establish a baseline here, so let's go to the Raspberry Pi Imager. Scroll down and you'll see that it is available for whatever operating system you use. Follow the installation process for your operating system, and then we will travel through time together and come back when you do. Okay, we have traveled through time and now we are here together installing it. Depending on the version that you have, yours might look different than me. The functionality is the same though, so it is incumbent upon you to figure out what the equivalent functionality is on your end. We're going to choose our device and we're going to hit no
filtering. Once we hit no filtering, we are going to choose our operating system. This is when we choose that file that we just downloaded, so make sure you know where it is. choose operating system, scroll to the bottom, custom, and find your file. Double click, you're good to go. Choose storage. This is when you put the SD card into your computer, and make sure that you do not overwrite your operating system's disk. Make sure that the disk you select is in fact the SD card. Here you go. It's going to appear online in a second. There we are. Click on it, then hit next. Do not customize settings. Make sure that you answer this question appropriately. In my case, I'm fine with it being deleted, so I click yes. Type my super secret password. And there we go. This process will be pretty quick. All right, and it is done. Then remove the SD card from your computer and insert it into the Raspberry Pi. You will now plug your computer into the Raspberry Pi's built-in Ethernet port. You will also plug in the WAN, meaning your internet source, into the USB-A to Ethernet adapter and plug that into the Raspberry Pi. Once you've done that, you can plug your Raspberry Pi into power. Again, to recap, put the SD card into the Raspberry Pi, plug your computer into the Raspberry Pi's built-in Ethernet port, and plug in the WAN connection into the USB-A to Ethernet adapter and plug that USB-A to Ethernet adapter into the Raspberry Pi. Then power up. It's going to take a little bit for your computer to get a DHCP LAN address from the Raspberry Pi, so give it a second. In the meantime, you can get a browser ready to go and type in the address 192.168.1.1. because that is the user interface for the Raspberry Pi. Okay, and we have an IP address. Enter. We are going to be greeted with this screen. Log in. You could set a password if you want right away by clicking here. If you don't see the yellow box, you can go to System, Administration, and then pop your password in there and press Save. I'm not doing a password right now for the sake of this demo. First step, let's go to Network, Interfaces. All right, we're missing something there. What is missing? Well, we are missing a WAN connection. Let's take care of that. Go to Devices and ensure that you see ETH1 here. Yep, that is your USB device. Let's go back to Interfaces, Add New Interface. This is our WAN connection. It is going to be a DHCP client, and the device that is attached to it is ETH1. Create interface. Great. All of these settings should stay as is. Protocol DHCP client, device ETH1, bring up on boot. Great. Advanced settings, nothing changes there. Firewall settings, we do need to create a zone. So we are going to create a WAN zone. Click down, WAN. DHCP server, nothing. It should be as is, and click Save. Then, down here, Save and Apply. Let's confirm that our firewall routing is set up properly. So we go to Network, Firewall, and you see the LAN here is going to the WAN. So if I go to a website, we should have internet access. And we do. That's great. But that's not our end goal. Our end goal is to have a VPN as well. So let's go up to VPN, OpenVPN. This is where you manage your VPN settings. These three are just sample configuration files, so you can delete them or leave them there as is. You go down here, bottom left-hand side, where it says OpenVPN configuration file upload. I'm going to upload my file. I'm going to call it test VPN. Browse. I have this file previously set up, and you get these files from your provider. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there is a whole other video in season 1 of Welcome to 1984 that goes over this. Then upload. Once it is uploaded, you will see it appear here. Then hit edit. Bottom box there is expecting your password and your username for your OpenVPN files. The box here at the bottom is where you put in your VPN credentials. Go in there, and remember, these are your OpenVPN credentials, not necessarily your VPN account credentials with the provider. Depending on providers, you may have the same one or they may be different. I've input mine, but I'm not done. Here in between the parentheses, you are going to see this /Etsy/OpenVPN/ the name of your VPN.auth. Right click, copy, highlight that and copy it.
Come to the big box here. Look for auth user pass. Put your cursor there, one space, and then paste. There should be a space in between these two, just like that. Then you're going to click Save. Then top left-hand side, go back to Overview, And you're going to enable your VPN by clicking that little box and hitting save and apply. Then let's go see if the VPN is working. Status, system log, scroll to tail. Yes, the VPN successfully initiated. You see here it says, as expected, test VPN initialization completed. Let's go back and look at that IP address. Did the IP address change? Oh, not only did it not change, but now I don't have any internet access. What happened? Well, what's happening right now is that the router is still seeking to send everything to the WAN, and now the WAN has been taken over by the VPN. So let's fix that. Go to Network, Interfaces. We're going to add an interface for the VPN. Add new interface. We are going to call this VPN. It is going to be an unmanaged protocol, and the device will be down here, ton 0. Look for that, ton 0. Create interface. Great, everything here stays as is. We go to firewall settings and we need to create a new zone. And I'm going to customize it and call it VPN zone. Enter. And then save. Great, I've done that and now I hit save and apply. Almost done. Now you go to network and firewall. You see here how LAN traffic is still being sent to the WAN. We would like to change that. So we need to go to edit and take WAN away and add VPN. So now all of my traffic is only allowed to go to the VPN. This is essentially a kill switch. Save. Then I need to enable masquerading here in the VPN zone. I click save and apply. Let's go back now and see if our internet access has returned. Well, if you don't get it to work at first, you might just have to restart the VPN. So let's just go to our VPN, open VPN, stop it, wait a little bit for it to stop. How do I confirm that it stopped? Well, you go to status, system log, scroll to tail. There you go. Exited successfully. Awesome. Let's just go back to VPN and then hit start again. You don't have to hit save and apply, just start. Let's confirm that it started. Status, system log, scroll to tail. There it is. Firewall reloading, complete, and let's go. There we go. We are back in business. All you got to do sometimes if it doesn't work is just restart the VPN. Sometimes even just rebooting the router works. That's just how these things are. You could go into SSH and restart a service and do all these other kinds of things, but what I'm trying to do is give you baseline protocols that you can follow and that people of different varying skill levels can follow as well. There you are. That is all you do. One quick note, you have a kill switch enabled right now. If you go to Network Firewall, only routing through the VPN is allowed. Watch what happens when I turn off the VPN. If I were to stop the VPN, as I did there, it is now stopped. Status, system log, scroll to tail. There it is, VPN exited. Let's see if I have internet access. I'll open up a new website. I do not have internet access. What I would need to do is I'd need to go to Network, Firewall, and now I reroute it instead of LAN to VPN zone. I'm going to edit that. And I'm going to route it back to the WAN. And then save and apply. I've now cleared the traffic to go back to my original IP address. If I want to go back on that, all I have to do is edit, change it to VPN only, and then save and apply. VPN only, and then I go back to my VPN, open VPN, and I need to start my VPN. Then I'm going to start it up. There we go. It has started. I go back here. You see my old IP address, and there is my new one. Good to go. That is it. Questions I always get is, how fast is this thing? Is it reliable? Well, let's take a look. Boom, go. I am on one of the more popular cheap ISPs out there, or I should say VPNs, and let's see what we get. That is not bad right there for OpenVPN. This is the OpenVPN protocol. So WireGuard, you could probably get even more. I do have a way to support WireGuard on this, but it is
not as easy. I haven't made that firmware yet. If I make it, I'll let you know. But right now, I mean, look at that. You're getting 65 megabits per second. One of the competing routers, a GLINet Barrel, which is actually more expensive than the Raspberry Pi setup that I was talking about. Yeah. Do I need to say more? More than 4 times as fast with the Raspberry Pi.